Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy P Farm Thinking Right out here. Oh, I'm back in the book. I got a nice lesson for you. This is gonna be fun. Let's get this party started. We doing my yacht. I ain't answering the phone right now. I'm busy. I'm about to give another lesson about my yacht, so you know the deal. Let's rock. Rightisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's handle our business. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I get through. Yeah, that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my yacht be true. That's my girl. That's the book we in right now. We wrote it right along. All right. I was picking up off the last lesson. I got mastering my yacht philosophy does what? Ends the cycle of reincarnation. Did you know that? The goal is to know thyself. Mastering my yacht philosophy is what we call wisdom in action. Why? No more reincarnations. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. But let me get this part out for you right quick. You should understand this. From the last lesson, I'm going to pick up from here. Understand this. Where we at? Human beings. Okay, let me read it from the top. With the first primordial act of God, he set into motion events which operate according to what regular and ceaseless motion or action. This is the foundation upon which the universe, aka by Maya, is created and emerged from the mind of God. Therefore, if one is able to think, act according to the way in which God thinks and acts, your conscious be your guide, therefore, to think and act, then there will be, you ready? Oneness with who? With God. The goal for all human beings is to become one consciously with God. We're already in spirit. You got to become conscious of that. That's what the lessons that Maya present for you to do just that. She give you the blueprint. And listen, human beings are like sparks of divine consciousness. Let me say it again. Human beings are like sparks of divine consciousness. And as what? Such, we are endowed with what they call free will, what? To act in any given way we choose. That's free will. This free will, when dictated by what? The egoism of you in your mind, it will cause you, the individual human being, to what? Now feel separate from God. Me, I. The ego edges God out. So the ego is never going to know God. You have to put the ego in check for your higher self to shine through. Why? The ego don't recognize God. It thinks it is. And for this delusion of the mind, it will do what? It will lead you to now develop ideas related to your own personal feelings and desires of the ego. Watch this. These egoistic feelings and desires and cravings would lead to what? The performance of more egoistical acts in the effort to what? Satisfy those perceived needs and desires of the flesh. This pursuit of fulfillment of those desires in this relative world of the mind and senses, the physical body, leads the soul now to experience what? You ready? Pain, sorrow, frustration, and disillusions. And because these can never what? Be 100% satisfied. Your ego will never be satisfied. And you're going to have frustration. And this leads to what? More actions in search of what? Fulfillment in the physical form. Hence, reincarnation. Let me speed up a little bit and get over here to the good stuff. Now, however, after death, there is no, what they call no safety valve, as it were. Why? Because under these conditions, your soul will have the possibility of experiencing boundless amounts of pleasure or pain according to your karmic basis, meaning how you act. You reap what you sow. Whatever you put out, you're going to get that in return. This is what is called heaven and hell, respectively. Is a state of mind. And if you're conscious, you're in heaven. If you're ignorant, you're in hell. Simple as that. Moving on. So therefore, if you lived a balanced life, aka Maat, right thinkings, then now you will not have the possibility of experiencing heaven or hell. Why not? Pay attention. Rather, you will retain presence of mind, meaning your identity of who you are, knowing thyself. When you die, you still are conscious of who you are. That's the beauty part right here. And you retain presence of mind and will not fall into the delusion of ignorance. So therefore, your rewards of developing a balanced and living a balanced mind and living a balanced life, practicing Maat, during your life, it will what? Continue after death. You see me dancing? I'm trying to tell you, the spirit and the conscious will go on for eternity. And what's the purpose of being eternal and don't know who the hell you are? That's in this temporary world. You don't know yourself here. You can't make it to the next world. Why? You don't know who the hell you are. There, you'd be you forever. That's the concept. I love that. And therefore, your reward, continues after death. You'll be conscious of who you are. You know thyself after death in the spiritual sense, and now you're conscious of who you are. You remember or you know thyself. Whatever you choose is there. But this mental equanimity, it allows you to now see the difference between the truth and the illusions of the mind and your senses. The physical body is an illusion in life as well as after death. When you wake up and be conscious of who you are, that's when you go home. And that's who you be forever. Why? Because if my grandmother lived a good life, I know people I can be vouched for, my grandfather, those are people that were going for it. And when you go there, the concept of, I see you on the other side, I see you, I see. Yeah, why? Because they're going to still know who they are. And you're going to know who you are. So y'all can recognize each other on the other side in the conscious and the spiritual aspect. Philosophically, metaphorically. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. We only can have concepts. You do what you want. Moving on. But the fact that it's there. Watch this. So, if you choose to act in accordance with Maat and right things, that's what you're making the decision to do. To follow the concepts of Maat. 42 negative confession. Confessing that you have not done these things. And you will be in a position now to what? Transcend your egoistic illusions, meaning controlling that ego, put him down in the servitude position where he works for you now. He don't run you, he works for you. He's the slave, okay? And your egoistic illusion of your mind, and thereby you can become free from what? From this vicious cycle of actions which keep the mind tied to its illusionary feelings and desires, meaning you're going to keep coming back while in search of what? Happiness and fulfillment in the physical form. That will never happen. That's why you got to break the cycle by what? Knowing thyself. If your goal is to have material things, you ain't learning thyself. You're going to come back again. Watch this. And when your mind is free, liberated from this vicious cycle of reincarnation, what happens? Your soul's bondage to the world of time and space is now dissolved. The ego has then been put to rest because it is not being controlled by the mind, but has become the controller of the mind. Your higher conscious self, your higher self, the Haru, is starting to take over in you. When the practice of Maat, there we go, is perfected. I've done that. Beautiful thing. Your mind becomes calm, at peace, at rest, not agitated, not all the time. I see people, I know the most organized person you can imagine. And they swear to God they got it together. They swear to God, and they don't have it. Ain't even close. But you can't even tell them that. Why? They're ignorant. They think they do. So I just leave them be. Moving on. I watch ignorance on a regular basis. But when the mind becomes calm, that means you're at rest. When this occurs, watch this. Your ocean of consciousness, meaning your thought process, your waves, which has buffered by the storms and the winds of thoughts and anxieties, your worries and your desires, they will all become calm. You're at peace. This calmness will allow your soul to now cease its what? Identification with itself, aka the ego, with the thoughts of the mind, and to behold its now what? True nature as a separate entity from the mind, senses, meaning it's the spiritual thing now. It ain't the physical part. And the senses, feelings, and thoughts of what? The ego self. You rise above that. The ego's down here. You're above here now. So he can stay down there. You need him, he'll come to do what he needs to do. But if he's on top, you're going to be down there. He won't let you out. Okay, that's the soul trap. The soul, again, is now free to what? Expand its vision beyond the constrictive pettiness of human desires. You're a better person now. Low nature, you're on the beastly nature. You want what? Pleasures, and more pleasures. Okay, of the flesh. And the pettiness of human desires of the flesh, want them more. And your mental agitation. The mind needs to be at rest. If you have anxieties, worries, and you all the time thinking about stuff that didn't happen, stuff that might happen, stuff that already happened, and you ain't focused on it now. So the mind is agitated. It's not at peace. In order to behold the expansion of your inner self, the mind has to be what? Calm. Breathe, calm down. Some people, nope. Repetition breathing. Slow breathing. Inhale. Enjoy it. Let it out. Inhale. Enjoy it. Let it out. That's repetition breathing. That when you go into a meditative state, you got to have that rhythm. Why? Because now the blood is flowing to the brain. The brain is doing this thing, and the body is at rest. All that takes place during the meditation time. I ain't going to tell you about my problem with meditation stuff. That's another lesson. All right. Actions, again, are the basis upon which the cosmic plane of creation unfolds in human life. We call it human experience because it's action filled every day. Something got to be done. You got to get up, do what you got to do. Call it rat race. Okay, we call it life. But it is the present action, the now, which leads to the results that follow at some point in the future. Your actions, remember, you reap what you sow. You plant the seeds, certain things, and it'll mature, and it'll come back and bloom, and you'll be blessed or you'll be checked. In this life, or even in another lifetime, again, if you don't get it right, you'll be back. And your spirit has been going a few times. Ideas, you stop the buffering, I call it. Okay, recycle. Coming back. So therefore, if you are in a prosperous situation in life, right, today, or in an adverse one, it is only because of your actions that you performed what in the past. Karma come back. Thus, both situations, be it good or bad, should be endured with the sense of what? Personal responsibility and equanimity of the mind, aka Maat, Take responsibility for the actions. Well, I don't know why this happened to me. I don't know why. I must got bad luck. All that nonsense. Take responsibility. Be responsible. And from your transcendental point of view, your soul looks at all situations equally. Why? It's just along for the ride. It don't care one way or another. That's why. But this is because the soul knows itself to what? Be immortal. It just got to let the body that is in become conscious of that. It already knows. And eternal, It's so know that it's itself to be immortal and eternal, and it is untouched by the events of the human experience. So whatever you go through, the soul don't really care. Okay, good or bad, don't make a difference. It don't get up or down. Okay, it don't experience that. But through your events of human experience, which has what witness, it's along for the ride for countless lifetimes. It doesn't seem cycles, life go by and by, and it's just along for the ride. Okay, so it is your ego, which is transient. Watch this. Now, this the meat and potatoes right here. This is important. Your ego, which is transient, that looks on life situations as what? Pressing and real, and therefore either tries to hold on to what? Situations in which it considers to be good. We all know that I want the good, I want the bad. Or to get away from what? Or eradicate situations which it considers to be what? Bad. When your performance, your actions will dictate that. Start thinking right, doing right, and your actions will be right, and your what? Your rewards will be blessings. In all situations, now, whether they are considered to be good or bad by the ego, don't mean jack. Why? The ego shouldn't be the shot caller, first of all. If the ego dictating, you got problems. Again, and watch this. Good or bad by the ego, now will eventually pass on. So we should try to view them as clouds, which, if my mother say favorite, this too soon shall pass. Whatever your life situation is, it's going to pass. Good or bad, that's what they're saying. And inevitably what? It will pass on. So no matter how terrible or how wonderful they may seem to be in life, when life is lived in this manner, your mind develops a stream of what? Peace, which rises above elation and depression. It don't get caught up in the emotions again. Detachment, dispassion, or prosperity and adversity. It don't get caught up in that this good or bad, highs and lows. No, it don't concern itself. But by looking at situations with equal vision and doing your best regardless of the circumstances or situations, again, you don't control the situation, but you control you in the situation. So the outcome should benefit you. All you got to do what you need to do. You are able to what? To be able to discover an unalterable balance within oneself. That's the Maat philosophy. Doing what's right continually on a daily basis. Watch this. This is Maat, which is the underlying order and truth, which is behind the apparent, what we call chaos. Chaos, we know, is Ishfet. That's the opposite of Maat. Maat is so strong and enforceable. Ishfet don't get no run. Nobody wants chaos. That's why. And she apparent behind the apparent chaos and what we know to be what? Disorder. In the phenomenal world, the physical world, in doing this, now you become able to attune your mind to the cosmic mind, God, of the innermost self, which exists at the transcendental level of peace at all times. When you become one with God, you no longer get crazy, out of pocket. Why? You got a calmness about yourself. You know certain things about yourself. You're comfortable in the skin. So you don't get rise or the fall. I tell you, that's what they call what? Flatline. Just stay cool. Poker face. Life is good. Oh, my life is good. I'm blessed. Yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah. When it's bad, oh, woe is me. That's it, right there, up and down. Get off that damn hamster wheel. Focus and do one thing, the right thing. And everything else take care of itself. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Where we at? Lost my place down here. Okay, this is my yacht online. Okay, watch this. This means that if you are deep down indeed the universal self, one with God. And if you have come to your current situations in life of bondage to the world of time and space due to your own state of mental ignorance, you got nobody to blame but yourself, first of all. Then it follows that if you undertake certain spiritual disciplines of knowledge, study the teachings, and a daily practice, here we go, meat and potato time, following those teachings, those same actions will lead you to what they call liberation, anointment, Christhood, Haruhood, know thyself, nihas, from the state of bondage, aka ignorance of your true self. And that's the root and the cause of your bondage in your karmic cycle of life and death, aka reincarnation, life, death, reincarnation, etc. When you constantly living on the hamster wheel, you will keep coming back over and over again. Actions must be performed when? All the time. Why? Even breathing is an action. That's something you got to be done. You have to inhale, exhale. That's action. Nobody can escape action. No one can say, I will go far away from civilization and escape all actions, and then my actions will not lead me to a state of ignorance about my true self. That won't work. This form of thinking is the fallacy, because it just discussed breathing, eating, drinking, sleeping, sitting, walking. All these are actions. You can't get away from them. This process of liberation requires more than just removing yourself from the field of the physical actions. You yourself could go to a nice quiet cave. I told people, I'm not going to be no monk. I can do what I need to do right here amongst y'all in my daily life and still move and grow and do what I got to do. They're saying right here, you can go to a quiet cave, a temple, or church, and you will still be plagued by what? The unruly thoughts of your own mind, which causes distraction from the true self. Thoughts are subtle forms of action, again, until you act on them. So therefore, an action performed in thought can be equally significant and can cause what? Much karmic entanglement as an action performed with what? With the body. Physical stuff, it's going to be an equal opposite reaction. Any action first originates where? In the mental field, the astral plane of what we call consciousness, which is stirred by what? Your desires from the ego self, rises from the unconscious mind. There it is, right there. You unconsciously are ego. This agitation prompts your mind toward thoughts and actions in what? In an attempt to now fulfill those desires of the flesh, of your unconsciousness. When the physical body wants what it wants, it starts telling the mind, I'm horny, I'm eating, so it's starting to dictate. But those actions and thoughts create more desires and more future agitations. Again, that's the ego. It won't stop. This is the state of bondage, ignorance, which is experienced by most people. And it continues for what? You ready? Lifetimes, without no end in sight, unless what? You break the cycle. This cycle continues until there is a self-discovery that the desires cannot be filled in this manner. Now you will what? Look for something higher, something better than the physical. Therefore, the root of physical desires is ignorance, must be eradicated. The ego got to be taken care of in order to end the desires of the mind and the flesh to achieve what? True peace and balance in life. The ego got to go. You need to develop a subtle or intellect and a profound insight into the nature of the universe and how it works within you. It's all about you and your innermost self. The best way to achieve this goal is to practice what? And blending of wisdom and action in your personal spiritual discipline in order to harmonize what? Your mental and physical qualities. You got to take care of the mind, body, and soul. Prayer, meditate, physical workout. Study, give classes. Those are the routines that I follow for my mental qualities to what? Sharpen me and keep me where I need to be. in this process that you do, you must understand what? That the ancient sages have given guidelines, blueprints, laying out instructions with thoughts and actions are in line with what? The scale of Maat, and which actions and thoughts are what? Not, but the 42 precepts of Maat constitutes the focus of the Egyptian book of coming forth by day. However, throughout the book, many injunctions are given from the concept precepts of Maat, and their purpose for that is to cleanse the heart of each aspirant who practice it. The idea is to lighten his heart. Why? It got to be light as Maat's feather. That's why. And living right will do just that. Purify your heart by doing the right thing daily. Now, the wise who acts with Maat and lives according is free of falsehoods and disorder in their lives. I told you, my thing is doing the right thing. That's just personal. And that's what it's saying. I took this years ago and put it to my philosophy and live by it. And it works. Trust me, to this day. The practice of Maat, taking it home right here, signifies what? Wisdom in action. You're smart and you're putting it to use. Why have knowledge and don't use it? Like having muscles, don't show them off. Why you working to get them? You want to work every chance you get, take that shirt off, flex and blah. So do the same thing with your Maat philosophy. Flex your muscle. Live right, do right, stay on balance, and be good for yourself. And this is to say that the teachings that you learn ought to be what? Practice, where in ordinary day-to-day situations, and when the deeper implications of this practice are understood and mastered, now one will be led to what? Purity in action and in thought, aka purify one's heart. Taking it in, this is it. I appreciate you tuning in order to become one with the divine, this is the coup de grace right here, you must become the divine. What? In thought and in deed. That means you're thinking right, you're doing right. This means that you must spiritualize all your actions and all your thoughts at all times and under all conditions. That's a tall order. But when you get good at doing just that, it will be smooth sailing. Actions, which present themselves to you in the normal course of the day, as well as those same actions which you have planned for the future, should be evaluated by your growing what? Intellect spiritually. Your discriminative quality, your discernment to make decisions based on what? What you know, and you'll be able to make better decisions with knowledge of self. And here we go. Anubis, that's my new, with that discernment and discrimination there, you got to have Anubis. He represents what? Your discernment. Okay, and Sa, S-A-A, that's your total understanding. Okay, again, those are aspects of your character that I gave you a long time ago, but they're there for that reason. And what happened? And then you will have performed to your best capacity in a selfless manner by what? Offering what I give you every day doing my show, selfless service. I don't expect nothing in return but your viewership and your hope in learning and being better for yourself. That's my lesson, that's my message, and that's the time for me to say, in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me 100 minus a day. So I know that my right thinkers who now understand how to master Maat philosophy have passed away. And remember, Maat philosophy masters don't die. Keep telling you that.